I can remember when I was probably about between 9 and 12 years old. My granddaddy would come in and he would always carry two wallets, but when he would come in off a big run, a moonshine run, he would have three wallets. He would come in after his big runs. He'd leave on like a Friday and come back on a Sunday night, and he'd always take his nice car. He'd always do something like that. But he'd come back and he would take the coffee table in the living room and put a wallet on it, and then the kitchen table he'd throw two wallets down on it, and we would stack money in stacks of 1,000. And I never understood. I can remember one day we didn't have anything to eat, and my grandmother was scrounging up, and she was making things up to make cornbread, and she had some strychnine and in the refrigerator, and so or fatback, whatever you want to call it. And so our dinner that night was cornbread and fatback, and you just chew on the fatback and eat cornbread. And I looked at her and I said, "Mother, just the other night we counted out over $10,000. Why ain't we got no food?" She said, "Because that ain't real money." I said, "Well, it felt real to me." And she said, "Yeah, but when it's liquor money or drug money, it ain't never real. You can't spend it." And I confused me more than anything, but I just didn't grasp. I touched this money, I held this money, this was real money, but and it was in our hands, it was in our pocket or in his pocket, it was in our home, but it wasn't for us to use. It was business.
Okay, so what did it feel like? Did all this just feel normal to you when you were a kid?
I honestly, I don't remember when it was that I started kind of lying about what was going on, or what people did or any of that. Now I do know that when I got up in high school age and things like that, I thought, oh, it's cool. I got an outlaw granddaddy, and our house runs on an outlaw lifestyle and all that. I thought it was cool, and I tried to look it up. You know what I mean? But that probably around middle school, realizing I guess it's about that age. You get about 12, 13 years old, and you start realizing what other people have, and uh, you understand what you don't have. It. We used to watch these guys. When we were early teenage years, the BMX bikes were real big. Everybody was going out buying these real expensive BMX bikes and things like that. Me and my brother, we couldn't afford those. So what me and my brother would do is we would go and we would find the BMX bikes that people had thrown out, and we would take four or five BMX bikes and we would take them all apart and then build our own. And everybody would be like, "Where'd you get that bike? That's an expensive bike." And we're like, "Oh yeah, man, this is this is my birthday present. Or this is my Christmas present or something." But really, and then we started. There was a couple of them we were able to build and we were able to sell, and we sold some to some other. And I don't mean this. I don't mean this in a bad way, but we would find the other trailer park kids, and we'd be like, "Hey, $20, you can have this bike," and then $20, you sell a bike for $20, you can eat for a couple of days.